nicotine rounds, and even like when you're writing the book, how did you ground yourself when your inner critic is going, ah?
I'm a dance teacher, so I move with the kids and I teach and and that actually got me through a lot of my IVF too, because I would be sitting in a gutter out the front of the school getting my phone call telling me that I had a negative pregnancy test, the waterworks. And then I would be like, right, I'm teaching in 10 minutes, I better go. Yeah, Wonder Woman.
I better shake it off now.
Yeah. And, I would almost feel emotional that I could feel it healing me.
Welcome to the Yes I Can solo podcast. Yes I Can is an inner knowing you come home to, a supportive space for women navigating solo motherhood, sharing real stories and the inner shifts that help you feel steady, safe and connected, moving out of overthinking into clarity, confidence and excitement. I'm your host, Betty Photofili, solo mum by choice. Let's explore the magic of doing it your own way. Welcome to the Yes I Can solo podcast. Today I am speaking with Lorena, and we just found out that she actually is in Sydney, where I am too. So welcome, Lorena. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So many people dream of writing a book. Very few actually do it. And even fewer write something vulnerable, something that tells the truth of their life. And Lorena has actually written a book. She's also a solo mum by choice. So Lorena, you have accomplished this. Can you please tell me, how was there growth? Was this an experience that grew you?
Yes. Well, it was interesting because the reason I wrote the book, I was one of those people that you're talking about that always dreamed of writing a book. And as I was going through my first sort of stages of IVF, things just kept happening, and I thought, I should write some of this down because it could be something that I could, develop, and it was sort of cathartic as well. So it was really interesting because I was writing the story as it was happening. So it was a really interesting kind of process. Sometimes I had to step back from it because, you're going through all this stuff and you don't want to have to then sit down and write it all out and live through it all again. So in that way, it did. It kind of changed the process a little bit. It changed me along the way. It was a really interesting way of doing it, because I think normally people have a story and they write it, but I was writing it not knowing how the story was going to end. I didn't know if I'd become a mum or not.
Oh, well, how amazing it was, because I personally find journaling so healing, so like just getting all of these 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day out on paper. Did you find like like journaling for you, and then just working through the situation?
100%. Often I didn't journal it. I just did notes. It depended on my mood. I've got my notebook here somewhere. I should have brought it down. It's full. Like, the notebook is massive, just of little moments, snippets of writing, journaling, notes, little things from the newspaper that I'd cut out, just all sorts of things. I'd forgotten I did all that. And then sort of opened it all up and got on my computer and went, okay, let's make this something, and started writing. So,
And the thing is, we forget so much. So when you write it, like, it's so good that you did that, because sometimes they go, like, someone will say something and went, oh, I can't remember what my son did when he was 3, and I forgot. And my mum told me, she said, Betty, write down your journal, like log everything. And I logged it in Google Docs. And then when I went to revisit it, it disappeared.
No.
Yes, I did it in Google Docs, and then I kind of did some on pieces of paper, and I don't know where the pieces of paper are, but I thought, oh, you can have it in Google Docs, but it disappears after a few years. And of course I didn't touch it for a long time. Yes. But it's so good that you...
This is a little... you write a sentence a day in. And so this is how I've been documenting my daughter's life since she was born.
You do that every day?
Every day, yeah. It's so good. And I go back, and it's really interesting. Like, back when she was little and she used to, her first words, little things that they do that you forget about. So now I'm making you feel worse because you've lost your Google Docs. But even if you start now, it's something. It's beautiful to read back.
Oh, that is such a great idea. That is such a good idea. I mean, he's not always in my journals, but I write down 3 wins from the day that I had, and then 3 wins I look
Oh,
forward to tomorrow every day.
oh,
And I do it with him verbally. I say, "What was your win today?" And then, or now we do two. And then, what's your wins that you look forward to tomorrow? And what that is, it's kind of gratitude in a way, but it's also like, even if you didn't achieve the wins that you thought of from the tomorrow, it doesn't matter because you always find 3 other wins. But anyway, as I was
I
saying,
love
so
that. I
he's
love that.
mostly in it. Like for example, the win today, one of them was that he went to bed at 9:30 instead of 10:30 p.m. I was
We
struggling with
have
the
the
bed.
same problem. We have the
Yeah.
same problem. I had a meeting for a writing group last night and we didn't get to bed till 10:30 and I struggled to get her or 10. So thank you. Another person.
Yes, life is not always going to be on schedule, so you just have to go with
Definitely
it.
not. Hmm.
Um, may I ask you more about your book? When you knew you wanted to write the book, were there parts of you that wanted to quit? And what fears came up? Was there resistance or avoidance
Oh,
while you were writing the book?
such a good question. It took me, oh, well, it's taken me 13 years to get this book to publication point. So as I was going through the IVF, yeah, I had to stop. I did. I stopped for ages. Um, I think I didn't work on it. There was a 5 year gap in there that I was just unable to touch it. Maybe not quite that long, maybe 4 years, because I did a lot of IVF. I did 13 rounds of it, and I know a lot of your listeners will, relate to that. And it's just the heartbreak. I couldn't write about it, and I couldn't read about it when I didn't know the end result of my story. So I figured if I became a mum, then that's kind of the plan. And if I didn't become a mum, then I'd have to go through a healing process before I was able to revisit the story again. So there was a lot of it that I couldn't touch for a long time. So it's a really good question. But then I sort of got back into it and I found a catharsis to it. It did become a little bit like, okay, I do have to live through this again, but let's live through it again. Let's do it. And that was before I became pregnant, I think. Yeah, maybe it was after. I can't remember now. Gosh, it's been such a long process. But yeah, there was years that I couldn't touch it for that very
Wow.
reason.
So when it got too hard, you just stopped
Yep.
the writing.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
in your book, do you recall it back, all those times that you tried, and relive
No,
it? No.
no, I didn't mention it in the book. I, actually, that's not true. I mentioned it in the acknowledgements at the end. I said this was a hard book to write. So I didn't want to mention it too much while I was writing because I didn't want to pull the readers out of the moment. I wanted to keep the arc of the story. And, I wrote it like a fiction book, really. The scenes are immersive. There's lots of dialogue. And I wanted, and I would love for readers to feel like they're in the scenes with me. And I feel like if I come out of it and say, I'm finding this really hard to write, I just felt maybe that might jolt people a little bit. So
Gotcha.
I was asked to do a acknowledgement section. I think I was given about 100 words and mine's about, uh, oh, 1,000. So
They go
I,
100 and you just add a zero. You go,
yeah, just at a
they're
zero.
like, do you not know me yet? I'm a solo mum by choice. I do things differently. You say 100, I do 1,000.
And I've got a village as well. We've got a village, right? So I had to thank my village. So yeah, it's a good question though, because it is something that you want readers to know, but you don't want to. Like, it's a hard when you're writing memoir like this. It's a hard balance because I'm not a victim. I chose to do this. I'm not in hospital because I'm ill. I went into surgery because I wanted to. So I didn't want to get out the violins. I didn't want to play the victim. I didn't want to look like I was feeling sorry for myself, but I was putting myself through heartbreak and a lot of really hard stuff. So there's that balance as well, because a lot of people will be reading thinking, well, you chose to do this. So, you're sitting in the gutter crying and you're writing about it, but actually you inflicted this on yourself. And then there's the bigger theme of, do we really have a choice? We're solo mums by choice, but do we have a choice? We want to be mums. Like, we have to be mums. So we have to do more. A better way of putting it is, we have to put everything into trying to become a mum, because there's a lot of people that are as passionate about it and their story ends differently. So I think it was more about that trajectory than it was about stopping and acknowledging how kind of hard things are too much.
How many rounds did you go through until your daughter came to you?
So I did 13 rounds. 12 with
Over how many years?
about 8, I think. I started at 38 and gave birth at 46. So 8 years. Yeah. Yeah. Long
Wow,
time.
that is a long time, but it was so worth it. Yes.
So worth it. So worth it. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't going to give up. I was actually going to give up at 10 rounds. I said to myself, look, 10's a ridiculous number. I'm going to just do 10, and then if I don't get my baby, then I'll get a dog. But I got a cat instead and a baby after 13.
So good. And then, I mean, that proves so much resilience. What surprised you most about yourself through this whole journey?
Well, I knew I was determined. I am determined. I saw, and we can talk about this in a minute, because this is a really interesting post kind of publication, motherhood reflection. I saw that same determination in my publication journey. I was persistent, and I knew that. So those two things I knew, but I don't think I knew how much. Fiercely independent. I did not want to accept help from anyone. I guess that didn't surprise me, but it surprised me how much. So, I think I thought I was probably more resilient and stronger than I was at some point, which sounds really weird, but I just, the first 2 rounds failed, and I just thought they wouldn't fail, and I didn't handle that very well. So I fell apart more than I thought I would, and isolated myself a little bit from people, because I couldn't keep telling people it's failed again, it's failed again. I wanted to just step back a bit. So that surprised me a little bit.
That you were like you reclused after all those times.
Yeah.
And when you say you didn't let anyone help you, did you have friends to talk to, family, or did you really not accept any help at all?
Oh, no, I accepted help. So my first round, I told the world, this is what I'm doing. The second round, I told half the world. And by the third round, I just had my very, very close circle. So my parents have been incredible. People that read my book, mum is the actual superstar of the book, which is true. My mum and dad. I have a group of friends, but when you're going through something and everyone says, oh, let me know if there's anything I can do, I would never act on any of that. I went to my appointments alone. Mum came to my egg pickups because I needed someone to drive me home, and she just was so desperate to be involved and help, so supportive. She was just like, I'll be there for everything. Are you going to, I had to go interstate for a couple of my rounds because I had to do PGD testing, and that wasn't in my clinic in Sydney. So Mum was like, right, well, we're going to go, and we're going to get in the car, and we're going to drive, and we'll stay in a cute little hotel. We'll go out for dinner. It'll be great. And I was like, okay, that'll be nice. But other than that, I didn't have anyone, I didn't want help.
This sounds a bit similar to me. I mean, I did accept help, but one of my best friends would always say, let me come to the appointment with you, la, la, la. And I used to be like, because what I bring it down to, and the work that I do with people, is that we are programmed, we're imprinted to be the strong one, be the good girl, we can do it all. And sometimes in a lot of situations, love is conditional. When you do this, you receive this. So you've learned to receive love after you've done something good. And for me, I was trying to prove that I'm strong. I've made this decision. Why should I have help when I'm trying to do it solo? Maybe it was a bit like that for me, I feel. And then also sometimes.
I was just going to say, do you think, do you think sometimes because we're solo mums by choice and it's the by choice part at the end, do you think that had something to do with it for you? Because it's your choice, so therefore you shouldn't accept help kind of thing? Because I think that might have been something for me, but I'm quite interested in how other people see that.
No, I think for me, generally I'm very independent anyway. And also I used to see when you ask for help that you're vulnerable and you can't do it. That's just the way I've grown up as well. Like, 8 kids, but also I feel like even if I didn't have a big family, you've just not me, 8 kids, my I have 7 other siblings. You just work it out.
I remember listening to your introduction episode. I think it was your second episode where you did an episode talking about being one of 8, and wow,
yeah,
and then having one,
having
kind
one,
of the other extreme,
So I feel like that's the thing. It's like proving that I can do this and I'm strong. And I find, like I was saying before, like we are a different breed. We're independent. We're high achievers. Okay, we can do this. And if we are not, you become a high achiever. You get shit done. And I guess that strong thing that you just be like, oh, I've got to be strong and show everyone that I can do it because I made the choice. And maybe the choice thing is because I made the choice, so I have to do it by myself. And I remember seeing, Rachel Toya. She made a comment when someone said to her, when we complain and go, oh, and like you complain about your child a little, or you go, oh, I'm just so tired, like what? And then someone makes a comment going, well, you decided to do it on your own. You can't complain. It's like we can complain. We totally have the right to complain. Like it's voicing. It doesn't mean that you show your vulnerability means you're weak, and it doesn't mean that we can't.
Exactly. And people all choose to have their kids, and but one of the differences I think is that sometimes I feel, because it's just me, if my child is acting in a certain way, people might look and go, well, it's all you. That's all you, bringing the kid up by yourself. So I feel that as well. If they're acting up, like throwing themselves on the floor in the supermarket or something. Our days have gone of that. And then the people are, they don't know that I'm a solo mum by choice, but if they did, they'd be looking at me going, well, that's all on you, baby, because there ain't no one else in your house.
Well, I mean, I can confirm that, like, my girlfriends that aren't single, they still get that too, that of course, and it's true, like your kid acts up and that's a reflection of you, but it's not all you, it's them going through hormonal changes, whatever it is, 100%. They're tired, but that's something that we all think that, oh, something's wrong with me. What did I do? What did I not do right? It's just that I feel like it's a parent thing, but then, as a solo person, we might feel that more.
And
but then again, it might be even better because we've got one person to regulate to parent that child instead of 2 going, what do you think we should do? Da, 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 da. Like, and you just go, okay, these are my set of values. I'll just instill that in him. And you're not having to worry about someone else's, another adult's emotional roller coaster as well at the same time. So, but 100%. There are so many pros to being a solo mum by choice, I feel, for sure. So how did you go through like all of those 13 rounds, and even like when you were writing the book, how did you ground yourself when your inner critic is going, and like, did you have like a certain technique? Or what's your go-to? Is it just going for a swim, or how do you ground yourself?
Well, there's a few things I do. I'm really lucky because I'm a dance teacher. So I go into the dance studio, and I'm a contemporary dance teacher, so I don't have to teach a syllabus. I can teach, anything. So I go in and I move with the kids, and I teach, and and that actually got me through a lot of my IVF too, because I would be sitting in a gutter out the front of the school getting my phone call telling me that I had a negative pregnancy test, you know, the waterworks. And then I would be like, right, I'm teaching in 10 minutes. I better go. Yeah, Wonder Woman.
I better shake it off now.
Yeah. And I would go in and I would play great music, give the kids a really good class, and just, you know, I would almost feel emotional that I could feel it healing me. So I do that, and I'm really lucky with that. I love reading. You know, after my daughter goes to bed at night, I cuddle her to sleep still. And then I
And
sneak out. She's
yeah,
6.
yeah.
We love it. We just talk, and I just lie there till she falls asleep. I
I
watch her
still
fall
read
asleep.
to my son. He's 7.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and we
It's
cuddle, and
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's
I'll
another
do
thing
it
that
until he
gave me.
doesn't want to.
Oh, my daughter's going to be 50, and I'm still going to be sneaking in. Do you want a book, sweetheart?
Yeah.
But I also, after she goes to sleep, I come back out and I do a bit of scrolling, and I like to read and, you know, escape in a book. Sometimes I might have a little cheeky glass of wine on the weekend. So those kind of things ground me, I think. Also writing, you know, I love being on my computer writing. I've started I've got a first draft of my next book.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
yeah, it's a fiction book. So yeah, those are the kind of things that I feel help keep me sane. And
I've
I was just going to say, and actually spending time with my daughter, I do like that. We've just had 6 weeks of holidays, and I was ready to breathe a little bit, and get back to adult kind of life. But yeah, that sort of fills my cup as well.
I feel like you are so blessed to have your profession as a dancer, because a lot of, you know, that somatic release in our body. Have you read that book, The Body Keeps the Score?
No, I
Anyway,
haven't.
it's a great book about
I'm
trauma and
writing
how
it
we
down.
imprint and all of these things stay in our body. For example, let's say if you are 7 years old, you're in class, you go to speak up, you ask kind of a silly question, everyone laughs at you. That gets imprinted to you. You learn your fight and
Yeah,
flight mode to go, survival. Okay, now I shut up. So next time I go to
yeah,
speak, and then, you know, you take these imprints into life and into
yeah,
adulthood. Okay. But humans, we hold on to it. But gazelles running from lions, you know, they might escape, but they're in fight or flight. And then what they do,
yeah,
there's so
yeah,
many great videos to see them. First of all, they do deep breathing for like a minute or two, and then all of a sudden they shake it all out. They shake it all out. They let the stress out of the body, like you dancing in your studio,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
they
yeah,
run
yeah.
off and gallop, and they're eating in the things because they don't
In the
hold on
field.
to it. They release it, whereas we keep it in and then go on with our life. And you know, there's lots of studies that prove that this traumas can actually go into diseases and all of the things in there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're blessed that you had that release all the time
yep,
through your body,
yep.
and
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 sometimes,
of course,
well, I mean, sometimes I just go, yeah, even just around the house and just start improvising or just moving, and putting on some grey music helps, I think, as well. Yeah,
and
so
crying is great. Crying is
yeah,
it's just energy in motion and getting it out. Otherwise, we
yeah,
hold it in, and then what happens? The pot is boiling, and then it just has to explode in one big hit. So
yes,
it's
yes.
so
I mean,
so
I'm a perimenopausal woman here. It's all happening with the hormones. So, yeah, there's got to be a release of some sort. So, yeah,
definitely.
I'm lucky. I'm very lucky.
Yeah, I'm in perimenopause, whatever it's called. Perimenopause. I keep waiting to be like, oh, well, what's this? What's is that? And
Hot
someone will
sweat.
say that's perimenopause. I'm like,
Oh, why was I
is
hot?
it? And then I go, but I just haven't slept well for 4 days, and then I sleep. I'm like, oh, it's gone. Yeah, whatever. Like sometimes,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Comes and
but
goes, I think. Yeah,
um,
yeah.
what was the biggest fear that you had going, like becoming a solo mum?
So that changed as I went along because it was such a long path to motherhood. When I first started, the fear was embarrassment, that people would judge me and think I was a bit pathetic because I was doing it without a partner. Because, you know, it was 2014, the world was different. Solo mums by choice didn't have the voice that we have. The internet was, the internet wasn't young, but social media was very different back then. So we didn't really have that level of communication. It was more forums. There was a Solo Mum by Choice forum. But that's all just, solo mums by choice talking to each other. There was no voice so I just felt like I was the anomaly. I had failed to find a man. I wasn't good enough maybe to find a man. So I'm going to do this loser thing of finding donor sperm and just scuffling off into the corner and having a baby by myself. And not really talking about it. And that changed so much. That evolved. And now I've written a book about it called Solo Mum by Choice. I mean, that just shows you how much I've changed. Originally, my book was called Round After Round because it was more focused on the IVF as a solo mum. But then it just shifted to this, people need to know about this movement of solo mums by choice. It is such an incredible group of women. And it's, we're doing this thing. We're not beholden to anyone. We are not losers. We are taking the bull by the horns, and we are not the gazelle. We are the lion,
Hey, if this is giving you a little spark inside, pause for a second and say it out loud. Yes, I can. Feel that energy, that inner knowing showing you now what's one thing you can do this week to trust yourself a little more. There's no rule on what order it goes by. And more and more women are going to do this because career is a massive thing. And women, like there are so many CEO women's running companies out there. So, things are going to be in a different order. So it's so good that you've actually named your book Solo Mum by Choice. Or is it called Solo by Choice?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Solo Mum by Choice. Yeah.
Solo Mum by Choice. Are you able to tell us a little bit of what can you tell? Because are you officially published yet?
No, May the 16th. So
yes, everyone save the date. We'll put a link in below where we can find you. So can you give us are you allowed to give us a little overview of the book?
Yeah. Well, it's in 3 parts. Part 1 is a little bit of a sort of overview, I guess, of the dating I attempted to do before I made my decision to go solo. Just I created a character based on a group of different men that I had dated, and his name is Richie. I never dated anyone called Richie, but his name in the book is called Richie. And I talk about how just some of the things that happened to me when I was dating and that made my decision very easy to become a solo mum by choice. Then it goes into my first 2 rounds, which were really hard. The first 2 rounds were the hardest. Part 2 is sort of a lot of IVF, but it sounds really boring, but just things kept happening during my IVF. And
what? Can you give us an example? Because you may think it's boring, but others may be like, oh, wow, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, well, there was the time that I gave myself one of the needles for IVF and I fainted. But I fainted in a really weird way. Like, it wasn't just a needle faint. Oh, I fainted. It was like 1 minute I was in my bathroom administering the needle. I was in my lounge room with the coffee table turned upside down. My glass of wine, which I had for Dutch courage, was on the ground completely unmoved. And I was on the floor in the lounge room. And I thought someone had broken into my house and I'd been assaulted. But I hadn't. I'd somehow, because we're on our own when we do this. So we don't have a witness. I don't actually really to this day know what happened. I assume I gave myself the needle and then I somehow must have been faint and staggered back to the couch and probably kicked the coffee table over as I fainted. But that was really weird. So that was one of the things. There was times when I was told that I had to do PGD testing on my embryos, and my clinic was a little boutique clinic, and they didn't do PGD testing. So, and it was quite rare back then. It cost $7,000 to do back
I don't
then.
think, yeah, I didn't do it. Could you just explain a little bit what PGT is for the listeners?
Yeah, it's PGT, PGD, or PGS, and it's I don't even.
Gene,
I'd have to check
yeah,
what it stands for, but it's basically testing the embryo for genetic issues.
quality, yeah,
So
and
they
issues.
pull a yeah, and they test it. So I had to travel into well, not interstate, but a long, long way to get that done. So that was another strange thing that happened. It was like I look back and I think, like, God, they just every step just seemed to be just, could we just get more things to do and go wrong, because this is all, it's not smooth sailing. You know, you hear of some women saying, oh, I did one IUI and I got pregnant, and they almost apologize for it. They're like, I'm so sorry to all the people that went through all this other stuff. um, so yeah, there was that. And then, so part two, so that was all the IVF. And then part three of the book is, and this was a new section. So there's an interesting story with this. Part three wasn't part of the original. So my publisher said, we really want life as a solo mum by choice. We want your life. Like, and then my original thought was exactly what you said before. But it's just my life. There's nothing really interesting about it. But then I started writing, and I realized there's a lot to talk about. Um, like the
We
time
carry a lot of wisdom.
we do, like the time I
We
broke
just
my foot.
forget.
Yes, yes.
Like the time when, like the time you're going to say?
I was going to say, well, there's two that come to mind. The time I broke my foot, um, I just taught a whole dance class and broke my foot falling down the gutter after work, and how you cope as a solo parent when your foot boot and you have a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. And then there was the other time I was lying in bed one night and my heart was doing funny things, and it was 11:30, and I thought, I'm going to have to go to the doctor, because my daughter was 2, and I thought, if I like keel over and die tonight, she won't even know what to do. Like, she'll be trapped in the house. I'm going to, like, how awful. So I took her and me up to emergency in the middle of the night, just bundled her up and took her. And so it's stuff like that you just think, wow, okay, that's what I did. And I'd probably do it again. I could have called my mum and dad to come over, but it was like midnight and it was late, and so that I'll just pop up and pop back. You
Yeah,
know.
the thing is, when you do it by yourself, you just do it. There's no complaining of he didn't do that, and there's no time to kind of go, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm really surprised. Like so, this has happened a few times. Like parents are like waiting there. They're like, oh, we've got to wait for NRMA because we left my son, or the keys have gone missing. They can't find it. I'm like, do you not hide a key in a magnet under your car? Like, and then
Yeah.
even my neighbors are like, oh, my Betty, oh, we can't get into our house. Can your son climb through the window again? I'm like, dude, where is your master lock thing? You've got to keep for safety. I said, and your baby is coming soon. The baby's been born now.
Yeah,
They've got
yeah,
a newborn.
yeah.
You can't afford to be stuck out of your house when you need to get in there. You've got to have all of these backup plans. And that's what I feel like. Some of my friends in partnerships, they're like, wow, you've really planned. I went, well, I have to. I mean, now my son's 7, I don't plan as much as I used to, but you've got to plan for all those
Yeah,
times like,
yeah.
I've got a spare key in a magnet hidden under, like near the chassis, all of those things. But we carry a lot of wisdom. So that is so good. They got you to write that book. And how good, I hear the stories of how to get a publisher is so hard. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
J.K. Rowling, how many did she go to? Did she go to 41 publishers or something before
Yeah,
someone would take Harry Potter? All the knockbacks that she got,
yeah,
like
yeah,
saying, oh,
yeah.
this is not it. Nah, this is crap, blah, blah, blah. And like, but I feel like your resilience through going through those 13 rounds and then you having to go through the publication, that resilience from motherhood, do you think that has made you a stronger, like being a solo mum and then coming into a book author, published book author? How has that transitioned into the way that you live your life now? And
Um, well, getting the publication deal was really hard, because I'm an unknown. I'm not famous. So normally, I'm not yet. Normally, memoir books are famous people. Like if you think of all the memoirs, they're people that you know. So to have a memoir by an unknown, huge risk. And that was most of the feedback I had when I was querying publishers. And also the IVF thing, that's been done a lot. So it has to be done differently and really well in order for a publisher to take it. So I was determined. My manuscript came second in the Hawkeye Manuscript Development Prize. So I was like, Hawkeye like it. I need them to publish this book. So I just went pretty hard on that. I was like,
You
I'm
just
not going to not have this book traditionally published too, which is different to hybrid and it's different to self-publishing. I wanted it traditionally published, which means the publisher's 100% invested in the book, money-wise and everything. They really believe in it. So I think to answer your question, after that, you get imposter syndrome, I think sometimes. Well, I do. Sometimes I
everyone
get,
does.
yeah, I mean, I've never had a night apart from my daughter, but I feel like if I did, I would lie there all night and think about what life would have been like if I hadn't had her. And same with the book. I think I sometimes have to just go back and look at emails and just check that it's actually happening because, when you want something that badly and you work so hard for it, you sometimes that you have it. I don't know. You just feel like you're still battling for it instead of you actually have it. Does that make sense? It's a bit like waking up in the middle of the night and, oh yeah, she's here and my book's coming out in May and everything. I worked really hard for these things and yeah. So I think I believe in myself now more than I did, and I believe that determination and persistence really does pay off. But that's also dangerous advice to give people because there has to be a point where reality has to kick in too. And I think that's a really fine line that I'm not very good at playing. I just get pig-headed and determined and I'm like, it will happen. But I think you've got to be careful of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, did you have a plan of if it wasn't going to happen, or it was in your head, you were delusional, just like I am all
I
the
was
time?
delusional. I was
Yeah. I
delusional.
mean,
Yeah.
I believe in the delulu. Just go for it,
Yeah.
like just whatever. But then, yeah, there comes a point. I mean, that's not true in a sense because I went for a baby number two just at the end of last year, and I thought I was going to keep going for rounds. And I'm 47 now. I would have been 46 and 11 months when I did that, and it was funny. I thought I was going to try again and again and again. But when the doctor actually said to me, because I had four frozen and then I was going for a fresh batch, and she said, "So Betty, do you want me to thaw all four or just do two?" And I was like, "Oh, actually, can I have a minute?" And she walked away. And then somehow I just went, actually, I'm only going to try this once. Something in me just went, my life is full. Like, I'm happy that like the 7 years of thinking, should I do it, should I not, is coming to an end. And I just said, whatever happens, happens. So there's a freedom in trying. It's not a
Yeah.
failure. It's just that how good is it to feel like, hey, I tried. I didn't,
Yeah.
otherwise I'd be like, however old in 20 years time going, oh, maybe I should have tried. Should I? But I've tried. And I came to that piece. But yeah, there is a freedom. And yeah, whether the line, I believe there's always something like that will happen that will say, okay, maybe stop or maybe not, or yeah, who knows? Um, but but yeah, when you said like now you're kind of checking like, did this happen? It's funny, you've got the goal, and I find quite a lot with people and myself, we've got this massive goal, okay, and then
Yeah.
you get there and you're like, relief, but you're like, is that all? Okay, because
Yeah.
really, it's in the doing and in the journey of doing the stuff. That's the growth. That's the exciting part. Like it's so then you get it and you're like, are you sure? What the? Where are you? Like this. So it's actually, and that's why it's like when you just
So
anchor into
true.
the present and not worry too much about the outcome. Yes, you
Yeah.
want it, but let go of it. Just
Yeah.
do everything like you're magnetizing it to you. You can't just manifest and go, I really want this and not do anything about it. You've got to actually
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
towards it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it comes to you. So that, like, I mean,
So
that
true.
just to anyone out there, want to do anything. Anything is possible if you've got the passion, the determination, and the heart. I find like because it was such a thing from the heart that it keeps you
Yeah.
going even more. And I feel like when people and women ground in and anchor into why they want to do it from their heart and not think of
Hmm.
numbers and I should do this and da 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 and what will society think? I've got to be successful because I've told everyone I'm doing it now, so I have to be. It's not. If you just anchor into here and why you want to do it. So
Yeah.
congratulations for that.
Thank you.
But yeah, imposter syndrome. Oh my gosh.
Well, and like, really?
Everyone has it. I've seen
Yeah.
was it Oprah Winfrey? Someone, but they've said that if you don't suffer from imposter syndrome, that means you're not growing enough. Like even
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
high achievers they go, oh shit, and like let's say, oh, I'm being a billionaire, I'm in the billionaires club, and you think, am I supposed to be here? Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
if you that means you're not challenging yourself enough.
I
And
like
then you just
that.
go
I
through it
like
and you
that.
kind of go, oh, I feel like I'm not, oh, this is just information. It's just data to say, hey, you're
Yeah.
growing, just keep going. Or
Yeah.
if you're trying to compare yourself to someone else going, but she's doing that and you're on that same level, it's just like a mirror to say, oh, that's what I want. That's just a reminder to say that's what I want and I can do it too. Because if you didn't have that thought in your mind, it wouldn't come if you didn't think that you could do it. So, congratulations going
Yeah.
through the imposter syndrome and getting through the book, and doing that. Is there any advice that you want to give to anyone going on the book journey or any journey, or even like going into try to be a solo mother, whether it's through IVF or foster or however? Have you got words of wisdom or lessons that you could share?
Um, with the book, everyone says, "Oh, I've always wanted to write a book," when you tell them you've written a book. And I say it's very easy advice. Write the book. Just vomit the book out onto a Word document, write the book, because if you don't, you never will. And I did, and now it's getting published. I didn't necessarily write it to get published. It wasn't until I was about three-quarters of the way through I thought, oh, I might have something. So write the book. In terms of, well, I think you've got to be very clear on what you want in terms of parenthood and what that looks like. So when I look back at myself as a teenager, when all my friends, and I talk about this in the book, my friends were kind of running around and dance, and I was a bit like, I'm going to go to ballet class instead. But I felt abnormal back then. I felt like I should be chasing boys or girls or doing whatever. Because at one point I thought, why am I interested in boys? I must be gay or something. And then I worked out later that I wasn't that. It was more that, it's not putting all those things onto yourself doesn't help anybody. So as a
Mm,
parent, I now realize that probably this was always the way I was meant to do it. And I'm sort of thriving as a parent like this. I don't think I'd do well with another adult in the house parenting my child with me. So I'd say, really listen to your instinct and don't worry too much about what society tells you to do. I'm only just now that I'm talking about it so much feeling the support from people. There's a few trolls online. I mean, I'm sure you've had them too, Betty, that love to tell you that you're selfish as a solo mum by choice, that that the child needs a mother and a father or two parents.
mm.
Anecdotally, and I can't cite the evidence, so I shouldn't be talking about this, but there is anecdotal evidence that shows that children need to be loved. They don't need to have two parents. There's no better or worse. Parents don't go into having kids intending to divorce and split up either. So,
Yeah.
if you're going to be a solo parent and you're going to love that kid and that kid is going to be loved and wanted, what more can you want? So that's a very long-winded answer, but I think what I would say is if I could talk to myself at 37 thinking, oh, I'm such a loser because I'm using donor sperm. No, 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 no. Just, go for what you want. And if that's to be married and have kids and have a partner, that's great. If that's to be a solo mum by choice, that's great. If that's to foster, that's great. I looked into adoption as a solo parent, but I didn't qualify. I can't remember why. I think I was too
And even,
old.
yeah, and even if you realize you actually don't want to have a child, I've got a couple of friends that thought they
Yeah.
wanted a child because from when they were babies, their parents already said, like it's normal in their culture just to be like married. And then she's like, I actually don't like, but it's so imprinted into us
Yes.
that that's what we
Yes.
think it is. And no wonder that we feel like, because pretty much everyone's I know as a solo mum, or ones that I've interviewed for sure, that's a big thing. They think that we think that we failed, that we're losers because we had to do it this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, except for
Yeah.
one, she was really, oh no, she still did go through the thoughts, but yeah, it's amazing how that it can influence our decisions when really it's our decision. It's not a loser. We're doing it in a different way. And for me as
Yeah.
well, like I feel like this was supposed to be my way. And I'm the same as you. I do
Yeah.
will find my soulmate will find me, but I honestly feel like we will live separate lives. Like we'll live in different houses.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
like it. I'm just
Yeah.
like, how am I going to meditate in the morning when I've got to, like, and now my life is so different that I'm like, wait, okay,
What am I doing?
I mean, it'll be great in a good way, but the
Yeah. Yeah.
routine and
Yeah.
like parenting myself, like we've set up our boundaries and we know.
Yeah.
I feel like because I hadn't grown that much. So if I did get into a relationship, all this trauma and stuff I haven't dealt with would come out in a relationship, and that's, I guess, what happens.
Yeah.
Loving this conversation? Hit subscribe so you never miss a dose of magic, real stories, and those little shifts that help you feel unstoppable. And hey, share this with a friend who could use a little yes I can energy in their life too.
I
So,
feel like I wouldn't even look at being in a relationship while my daughter is under 18, I'd say, because I'm not and I don't even know if I ever will, but what I was going to say though was I think what you're doing here is super important, and I love the fact that you've created this podcast and this voice for us. And thank you, because it's these things, and I believe also bringing out a book and talking about it and being vocal. It allows other women to maybe not necessarily have to go through that I'm a loser phase that so many of us have gone through, and it sounds cheesy, but feel a little bit more empowered to, make that do what they think's best for them. Not to rush into it, but just to not have to think that it's a second best plan B kind of thing. Because I definitely, as a mum to my daughter, now I don't use the term plan B in any way. But I think some of us go through that. Oh, I didn't meet someone, so I guess I'll go to plan B now. Let's go look at some sperm donors kind of thing. So I
yeah.
hope that by you doing your work, and I can see that your podcast and your work is going to grow in this space. And also just, the book that I'm bringing out, I'm hoping that we're going to, help to create a pathway for
Oh,
future.
totally. You've done, like, your book is going to do wonders, and Alicia Burns does great work with Solo Mum Society and No Need for Prince Charming. It's normalizing it across the board and globally.
Yeah, she's a legend.
And what I love as well is that you don't just stop there. A lot of mums I know think, oh, I'm ever going to be alone, and now I can't build my career now and because I'm going to always be the sole carer. But look, hello, you've written a book. There's so many of us that are do businesses. There's another financial advisor who's a millionaire as a solo mum by choice. Like it's not the end path. There is so many. If anything, I feel like it excels you because you've got even more of an excuse. Yeah, you got limited time. You want to build a legacy for your kid, but then also I find that, look, let's be honest here. Most women or most people, we're always doing things for everyone else, and we forget to do stuff for ourselves. So when the kid comes, it's like, dude, I'm doing this for the kid as well, and then you hopefully learn to do stuff for yourself too. But it can excel you, so you can either embrace it and move forward. So I love that you're doing this, and the book is coming out, because it is a process. I don't know if you know, I've written one chapter in a book called the Lost Art of Being Human, and I got asked to write that chapter, and it's supposed to be 3,000 words. I did 3.5. But oh my God, mine was only one chapter out of 21, but it is a process. I was like crying and it's And it's funny when the creative director read the first draft, she read the first draft, she read the first page, and she said, "This is great." And then something happened. What happened? You went from here to here. And
Oh, in
and
the
that's
middle
what
of the
happens in
piece.
journey in life and even in solo motherhood. Like
Yeah,
we get to
yeah,
like, yes, I want the baby, and you're all like this, and then all of a sudden, I'm a loser. What are they going to think of me?
yeah,
All that comes
yeah,
into our
yeah,
head
yeah, yeah,
stops
yeah,
the flow from here. And that's what she says. And that was exactly when I was writing. She said, "You're all here." It was like,
yeah.
wow. And then all of a sudden you went, I
It
could
got
feel you went into
technical.
your,
Yeah,
yeah. And I was like, yes, oops. And it wasn't all just about solo motherhood. It was about, trying to find your voice in life and the
yeah,
lost art of expression. Mine was supposed to be about the arts because I'm from film, TV, in the arts, but then I
yeah,
changed it to the lost art of expression. And we do that because we get in our head instead of anchoring into our heart. And that's why your book is
yeah,
such
yeah.
a great. I love that you said I didn't write the book to get published. You
Mm,
wrote it because it was your story, it was passion, it
yeah.
was, and it would have been an empowering thing
And
to do as well.
my daughter's story as well.
How
So
proud is she going to be? She's probably already proud, but she doesn't realize, like, when she grows up and realize, like, oh, wow, and knowing your deep, deep, dark, not dark, but everything
well,
about
some
you that
dark.
you've, yeah, some dark, of course. Every time there's dark, there is light.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
oh,
She's proud, and she'll either. I've written, I've written the entire thing with her in mind when she's like a teenager, and other kids know that there's the book that she's involved in about her life, so that when they can open up to any page and she won't be embarrassed by any of it. Of
great.
course, she'll be
Yeah.
embarrassed probably that mummy wrote a book and blah blah blah, because kids do. But I've written that. I've really put her at the forefront of my mind, because it's her life as well, and it's her birth conception story. So, yeah. A question for you. Can I ask you a question, Betty?
Please do.
Are you going to write a book? I want you to write a book.
I am going to
Have
write a
you got a
book.
book?
I
Yes.
am. It's not on the cards right now, but
Mm.
I will write a book. Oh, yeah, because when I do write a book, I will talk about, I guess I'll tell my story a little bit, but I do want to give women like tools like somatic release awareness, neuroencoding, like how to interrupt patterns, but also how to make sure, you get into your heart space a lot. Because, of course, I mean, I will weave my stories. Thank you. I'm so glad you asked this because I haven't actually voiced it out aloud to anyone. I've just put it in my notes. So, yeah, like I'll have examples of my story. Maybe I'll even add other women's stories without, telling them their names. But yeah, and I'm just, no, well, now I'm just telling everybody. Like I'll just be giving them like a bit of my bio, but then giving them tools, how to release and work through the shame and the judgment, so they can complete that and move forward with more confidence and clarity when they're going through their solo mum journey. So, because as we've spoken about here, we carry a lot in our bodies and it's just imprinted from childhood or from whatever events that have happened in our life. So, yeah, lots of nervous system regulation. So, yeah, I did my own episode, but I felt like I rushed through it because I wanted someone to ask
Yeah, it
me
was short.
questions.
It
Maybe
was
I'll ask you
short. It
to
was
ask me
only 20
questions. Yeah.
minutes.
Like, because I just rushed through it and I was like, maybe I should have got someone to interview me.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
um,
it definitely makes it more, I guess, the conversations start happening because, um, we're such interesting people.
we are so interesting. Before I ask you your last question, I just wanted to say before we pressed record, we were talking about all of the events that go on for solo moms. Like there are so many.
Mm.
I asked Lorena, "Are you going to the camping trip that some Sydney mum has organised in March?" And she's like, "Oh no, I'd not heard of that one. I usually go to the Northern Beaches one with solo mums." And it's like there is so much out there. And I went to the one in Bali with 38 women that Alicia organised. So you are never alone, women, and we're everywhere. So
Yep.
it's a strong
Look.
community and so much good support and lots of
Yeah.
laughs too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so
Exactly.
strong. And then it's just going to get bigger and more people are going to be out there and feeling so normal about it. I feel
And
it's
also,
already become so normal.
women who are thinking about becoming solo mums by choice are
Mm.
also welcome to come along as
Oh,
well.
okay. That's
Because
awesome.
Yeah, because I think it can be quite isolating that time because you
Mm.
don't identify as a solo mum by choice, but you do as well because you're not actually a mother yet, or you might have even been a mother. There might have been miscarriages and things. So I think there's that middle area where you feel very alone because you're not in the club yet. Not that it's a club, because I don't like that idea. I feel like that's very kind of exclusive sounding, but you do. I felt a bit like that, I think, when I was so desperate, and I had a couple of other friends become solo mums by choice, and I was like, I'm not a mum. I'm not a what am I? I'm an IVF patient. So I think that it's also important to acknowledge that these meetups and catch ups are for everyone. People
Yeah.
considering, all that.
I actually did go to, before I became a solo mum by choice, before I'd even started the process, I did go to a catch up in Sydney Park. And that was
Oh,
really good. That
or
was
Sydney
really
Park.
great. And meeting other mums, and they were all supportive. I mean, in a
Yeah,
way, I still felt isolated. Not that they made me feel it. It was my own,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Because
Um,
you would.
yeah, it's a new journey, and you're like, and I don't want to ask the stupid question, and la 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 la.
I know, I know.
And yeah, back then, I mean, it was only what, 2016, 17. It wasn't as out there as it is now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and even more people know about it. Whereas back then, they were like, "What do you mean? How does that work?" But everyone
I
knows now.
know, I know, I know. I
Men,
feel like,
ladies,
yeah,
everyone, even older people, even retired people know what it is.
yes,
So
yes,
it's
yes.
it's
Well, my parents are retired, and they were two of the most accepting people that, and I wasn't sure if they would be. And so you'd be surprised, I think, how many people really accepting. There's people that aren't as well, but I was surprised by that as well. Yeah.
so good. Okay, one question for you to wrap it up. Um, is there is there one regret or something you would have done differently on this journey?
Mm. I do. There is, but then it kind of you can mess with your head really easily because um, I, it's I didn't used to say anything about this because it's sort of a bit of a spoiler for my book. But my publisher said, no, 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 tell the whole story. People, it's a bit like a movie trailer. So my daughter eventually, my my fertility specialist eventually said, "You're too old. Your eggs aren't working anymore. So you're going to need a donor egg." And it's a whole part of my book, so I won't go into it. And there's part of me that, they'd been talking eggs from the very beginning. And I said, no, 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 because it's too hard. It's hard to find a donor. It's more expensive. I'm going to use my eggs. And there's part of me that thinks, why didn't I just use a donor egg from the beginning? Why was there a stigma around that? I've just opened up a whole kettle of worms right at the end of your interview, by the way. So sorry about that.
That's okay. As long as we don't have to go to school pickup right yet. We've got 7 minutes.
Not yet. We've got 7 minutes. So there's that I just think, why was I having a problem with that? Why didn't I just do it? But I really needed to just give my body, and there was financial reasons. There was a whole bunch of reasons. So that's probably one of them. But my theory is, if I hadn't have gone on the 12, 13 round journey that I went on, 12 with my own eggs, one without, I wouldn't have my girl. I'd have a different baby who I would love just as much, but it's too awful to think of not having this one that I got.
Totally.
And I
Totally.
wouldn't if I hadn't have gone the whole way. And the universe does that. The universe brings you the child you're meant to have. So
And the
yeah,
growth that you had through that. And
yeah.
you know what you can put on your bio now? Professional IVF. What do you call that?
Patient.
Professional IVF patients.
Yeah, or recipient.
Because
Well,
you've
yes.
gone through a lot. But and then also imagine if you didn't try with her. There was another woman I interviewed called Gina, and she, even though at 34, she didn't have a period. Her period stopped.
Is
She
that
didn't take no for an
the Greek
answer.
lady? Was she Greek?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the
And
Greek.
I didn't
Yes.
even know that they could, even though you didn't have a period, you could still
They
manipulate
can
and
do
do
they
all that.
go
I didn't
again.
know.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah.
she took no, she still did 3 rounds. I think it was 3 rounds with
Yep.
her own stuff, even though they said everything is negative, blah,
Yep.
blah, blah. She still did it 3 rounds because she wanted to try. She didn't want to go and go, I didn't try. And then she went egg donor, sperm donor. But it was kind of like that, like I've tried and letting go now that it's not going to be my, but you know, when you have the boy, she had the boy and he looks just like her. But she made sure the clinic in Greece like got photos of her parents and her siblings when they were kids to actually match them. And no wonder, because I looked at him, I'm like, that's him. She goes, oh no, he's an egg donor. I'm like, he looks exactly like you. She goes, I know. But the thing is, if she didn't try with her own eggs, you know, like she wanted to, it was important for her to try that. So, so the universe does it. And there was lessons in there that I know you would have learnt.
It's all in the book.
Yep. She's not allowed to show us the cover yet until it's published. Where are you going to sell? Where can we find a copy?
It's on my website. The link is on my website. So that's www.lorenaoates.com.au. And it's on the Hawkeye site, which is www.hawkeyebooks.com.au. But if you find me on social media, I'm all over social media, so there's links all over there.
Yep, so. And I'll put the links below here as well. But it's Lorena Oates. The book is called Solo Mum by Choice by Lorena Oates. Yes. So we'll look out for Lorena, and you might see her again if she accepts that she can interview me next time.
Yeah, and I'll come to your house and we'll do it in your studio.
You might as well do it in person because I didn't realise you lived in Sydney. All righty. Thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Betty. Lorena.
It's been lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Yes, I Can Solo. Remember, yes, you can. And the magic comes from trusting yourself, doing it your own way. If this episode has resonated with you, please subscribe, share it with a friend, or leave a review. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm Betty, Solo Mum by Choice, and I'll see you in the next episode as we keep moving towards clarity, confidence, and excitement.